again. Today I'm going to be making a breakfasty type of meal. I'm going to be making you some paleo pumpkin pancakes. Let me show you what we're going to be cooking with. Okay, so for these pumpkin pancakes we're going to use a grand total of 8 eggs, 4 whole and 4 egg whites, and I'll show you how to separate those egg whites later if you don't know how. We're also using a cup of canned pumpkin. I suppose you could roast and get your pumpkin mushy yourself, but that takes a long time. Then we're using half a cup of almond flour. With almond flour, you want to make sure that you get blanched almond flour and not just regular almond meal. Almond meal still has the shells on it, while blanched almond flours have been blanched. So blanched almond flour yields a better result in your cooking. So we're going to be using a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 of a cup of full fat coconut milk, then a teaspoon of vanilla, and then the recipe calls for a ½ teaspoon of nutmeg and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, but I have pumpkin pie spice. Ooh, pumpkin pie spice. So I'm just going to use maybe like a tablespoon of that. I don't know, I'll play around with it. And then we're going to be using butter, coconut oil, or ghee to fry up those pancakes. I like to use ghee whenever I do pancake type things because ghee has a higher smoking point than butter, so it's just a little bit better. Alright, let's go. So you may be wondering why I have a mix of brown eggs and white eggs, because you probably think that brown eggs are the best eggs and they're the most healthiest. That's not necessarily true. It's just the type of chicken that it comes from. White eggs aren't any healthier than brown eggs, and brown eggs aren't any healthier than white eggs. What makes the egg healthier than traditional eggs is if it's cage-free. And it's not because the chickens are happier, it's because of their diet. You get a better egg because they're feeding on bugs and grass and things like that, rather than stuck in a cage eating just grain, which is never good for an animal. So when I buy eggs, I just look at the price and I make sure that it's cage-free and not grain-fed and things like that. And then I buy based on the price. Typically white eggs are cheaper than brown eggs, so I will use that, but today when I went to the store to pick up some more eggs, they didn't have any cage-free white eggs, so I just got the brown. Okay, I'm going to show you how to separate your egg whites. If you didn't know, there's several ways to do it. This is my messy way, because what other way would you expect from me? Now I'm going to save those egg yolks, put them in this, put them in your refrigerator, and save them for a later day. Don't waste your eggs. They're so nutritious. So, egg whites. Crack your egg. You can do it this way, which is the way that my mother taught me, where you just kind of bounce it from one to the other until you feel like you've got them all. Or you can do it this way, where you just put it in your hand and let them all come out. We're going to do 4 of these. Okay, so once you've cracked your egg whites, you've separated them, make sure that you get all the shells out. This is very unsanitary, apparently. Add everything in a bowl. Your eggs in. The trois. Oh, bugger. Eggs, pumpkin-y, almond flour, coconut milk, then a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of vanilla, and a tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. I just got this pumpkin pie spice, is why I want to use it really bad. Okay. Mix it all up. Okay, I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but I'm going to add a pinch of salt. And that's what your batter should look like when you're done. See how it's a bit runny? Okay, let's melt your ghee. So I don't ever really measure out how much ghee or butter or anything that I put in my pans. I just go with what feels right and I let it kind of coat. I have a very small pan, so I'm going to be doing these one at a time. You could preferably do them more than that, but again, I live in a small kitchen. Okay, once your once your ghee has melted, or coconut oil, whatever fat you're using has melted, then it's time to add the batter. I'm using a pancake mold that I have left over from bygone era because it helps to hold the pancake shape and it's easier to flip. I'm doing this at about a tablespoon at a time. Just pour it in. Okay, so it's going to take about 3 to 4 minutes depending on the heat of your pan to cook on the bottom. This is not going to be like your traditional pancakes. It's not going to bubble and tell you that it's ready. So you just kind of have to keep an eye on it and keep checking. So when you feel like you can, try and take, oh rats. Well, that wasn't good. If this happens to you, it's okay. Just roll with the punches. Okay, so it kind of fell apart on me thanks to that stupid mold that I just used. I'm going to try again and show you better, hopefully. Okay, round 2. This time I'm not going to use a pancake mold. I'm just going to let it free flow. I'm going to turn the heat down on my stove a little bit. I think it runs a bit hot. So I gave it a little peek. I don't know if I can really show you. I'll try. To look on the underside of it. And it was brown, so very, very carefully, I'm not good at doing this, flip it. Aha! Okay, so you see it's still a bit brown like your traditional pancake. This, you can just kind of cut away. And, I don't know, eat it. So on my frying pan, it takes me about a minute per side. Yours might be different. Just kind of see. You definitely don't want burnt stuff. I'm really bad at flipping and then flipping and then flipping and then flipping. I don't know why I do that, but I just do and I always have, and it's never going to change. Ta-da! So there's your pumpkin pancake. Beautiful, isn't it? So don't you even think about topping this beautifully crafted pancake with some of that crappy sugar maple syrup awfulness. You could top it with some berries, some chopped nuts. You could drizzle it with a little tiny bit of honey, but don't go too crazy. You definitely don't want to eat these every single day because it's kind of more a treat meal. It's not the most healthiest of paleo meals because it has the almond flour. But it's definitely good if you're craving pancakes on a Sunday or a Saturday. I'd say definitely go for it and have a little bit of it. I definitely enjoy them. They're delicious. Who doesn't love pancakes? So I would definitely fry up a nice protein to go alongside your pancakes, be it delicious egg or some delicious bacon or some delicious sausage, some nice protein to go alongside this. And don't eat like 50 of them, even though it's really hard because they're really, really, really delicious. They're so good.